Hello mates, bonjour. Let's do your notes for the 26th of September, Sunday. Right, let's start off with vocabulary and sentence construction. Right, pension, noun, monthly money or weekly or regular money that you get after retirement. So the government or the company or the firm that you've been working with pays it out to you in some way. Alright, chunk, a thick solid piece that has broken off or has been cut off something. So a chunk of chocolate or a chunk of a rock. Right, lump sum, a noun, an amount of money paid out in one shot. That's a lump sum. And restrain, verb, hold back or stop someone from doing something, like hold restraining your dog. Right, example, sometimes a pension can provide you with a lump sum upon retirement. And explain the meaning, sir. And explain how these different pensions work. So they provide you a lump sum upon retirement. Alright, in one shot they give you a large chunk of your retirement money or your pension. Alright, I used to pound my keyboard, but now I restrain myself as you love writing your notes. Alright, so random stuff. Then we went on to do some and see some things, like we saw what an ounce was. We saw bricks and biscuits, armor, armored vehicles, convoy, an armored convoy. Alright, we saw all that stuff. Alright, so when we also saw why we cannot use mass sum, when we have to use lump sum because mass is the weight and sum is the total. And then we saw what nuggets were. So like we saw Hershey's nuggets. Alright, number 2, source is the noun, the place where something comes from or originates, a person from whom you get something, like you get information or you get something else, so they are the source of that thing. Alright, consolation, a thing or a person that makes you feel happy or better when you are disappointed. So that's a consolation, noun, and source, noun. Alright, examples, consolation prizes are given for coming fourth. Usually consolation prizes are given for coming fourth or fifth, especially if the fourth and fifth were very close to the third, so they get consolation prizes. Alright, we just saw the source of a river. I showed you the source of the river. Nice and cool place. Alright, trickle, noun, a small amount of something leaking, dropping, or coming through. That's a trickle. And it's especially true for liquids and gases and any other things that flow. Alright, so that's what it's used for, trickle. Same way with drip, coming in tiny amounts or coming in drops. Alright, it's dripping down. So the example explains everything. There's a leak. Alright, let's imagine there is a leak somewhere on some pipeline, some gas or oil pipeline, so like we saw the other day. So how big is it? Is it dripping? If it's dripping, it is a drip. Is it pouring out? Is it gushing out or is it trickling out? Right, if it's trickling out, it's a trickle. Right, so these are nouns and verbs both. So these two words can be used as nouns and verbs. Alright, incidents, the extent to which something happens or occurs. Alright, that's the incidence of that thing. Alright, an incident is something that happens, especially something that is dangerous or unwanted or unusual. Those things are incidents. Incidents and incident. Alright, so an incident occurred while you were away. The dog started levitating and came back down after 5 seconds. What did you do? I rechristened, changed his name, Happy Thunder. Alright, so and there was another sentence, the incidence of left-handedness in the general population. So what the question was, what's the incidence of left-handedness in the general population? Alright. Number 5, cite, verb, mention something as a source or a reason or an example to support what you are saying, especially in a report, in a project. It can also mean when you use a writer's or someone else's exact words to prove a point, then you say, and I cite so and so, and I cite his words, whatever his words are. Not the entire book, just a few words, alright, just to prove your point. Or to lend credence to your argument. Alright, concession, noun, the act of giving up something, agreeing to lesser, to end an argument, to end a fight, to end a war, to end the deal, to conclude the deal. So anything that is dragging on and on and on, some party has to concede. So that's a concession. An ail, verb, to make someone ill, to make someone sick, to cause problems for somebody. That's ail. Alright, so cite concession and ale. Alright, suppose you write a big project, then you have to cite your sources. You have to say where you got all that information, where you got all those facts from newspaper, which newspaper, which day, which edition from a magazine. Same with the medical journal. If you got something from a medical journal, you took it out of a medical journal, then you have to cite the source. Okay, this medical journal, the edition number, the date, the article number, and so on and so forth. Alright, so those are all citations. So you cite those things. And then we went on to some random stuff. I told you about a social topic. Sorry, we spoke about some social topics and issues. And then I told you about a social experiment. And then what implication it had and why some people were angry. Even though they should have been happy, they were still angry. So the way the experiment panned out, was they were not very happy with it. Alright, so let's do some idioms, phrases, and some sayings. All on the rocks. So when something is in a bad situation, especially a marriage or some business is in a bad situation, a company is in a bad situation, it's called being on the rocks. And I showed you it comes from the ships and all that stuff. Alright, so they had a whirlwind romance, however, now their marriage is on the rocks. I'll have a soda on the rocks. So if you like to drink some soda, you can have it on the rocks with ice. That's another meaning of on the rocks. And then feel something in your bones. You just feel it in your bones. You don't know the reason, you don't know the logic, you don't know why, you just feel it in your bones. So you didn't know the answer, but you felt it in your bones, and it turned out to be the correct answer. Alright, so crowds are pouring out. So the crowds poured out of the stadium and into the pubs and restaurants. So that's another great idiom. Alright, so sing someone's praises. So to praise someone, especially behind their back. Right, especially behind their back. If you say it to their face all the time, if it's always in front of them, in their presence, then it's called something else. So sing someone's praises can be in front of that person, but usually it's behind their back. Alright, so she's always singing her dad's praises. She's always praising her dad. She's always saying some nice or some positive things about her father. Alright, token woman, token man, token anything. So when you are there just for appearances, just to make others believe that, look, we are not insensitive, we really care. So that's why we have this person with us on the committee or on the board of directors or somewhere. So that's a token man or woman or anything. So when the aliens take over, they surely will appoint some token humans on their committee just to keep the humans happy. So we're watching a movie the other day about the aliens taking over the world and all that stuff. So they'll put some, or they'll appoint some token humans. Alright, so buy an approval. So some boutiques allow you to buy on approval. Right, so we saw all that stuff, what it means, and you have to start using all this stuff in your conversations, all these phrases, all this vocabulary, idioms, and all these sayings. Right, some more terms in general knowledge, part C. Alright, let's get on with that. So portal to hell. So we saw what that commentator or that news reader, he was describing that thing as a portal to hell. So it comes from port, like a ship's port or a USB port. It's a portal. What is a portal? A point or a place where people pass over, or some information or data passes over from one side to the other side. Like your USB port is a portal. Right, so you can take stuff from your USB drive or your flash drive, put it into your computer, and vice versa. Same, the ship's port, and I explain all that stuff. So that's a portal to hell. So from where demons enter the earth, or where from people can or anybody can enter hell. So that's a portal to hell. And the opposite of God is Satan or the devil. And the opposite of angel is a demon, right? So these are things. So God, Satan, angel, and demon. Alright, you have to know all this stuff because it's just part of the language and people use it all the time and all that stuff. Alright, so let's go on to the last parts of speech. So confirmation is the noun, confirm is the verb, confirmed is the adjective. Affirmation is the noun, affirm is the verb, affirmative is the adjective. I explain all that stuff, the difference between confirmation and affirmation, confirm, affirm, all that stuff. I hope you remember that. Alright, stereotyping is the noun, stereotype is the verb, stereotypical and stereotypically, adjectives and adverbs. Alright, restraint and restrain. Like we saw the dog the other day, the dog was restrained by a restraint. So a restraint restrains. All right. Consolation, again, noun, consolation. Console, verb, and consolatory, consolatory is the adjective. And citation and cite and ailment is the noun, ail is the verb, ailing. We saw an example, the economy of that country had been ailing. Right. So that's all for today. So write your notes down, watch the other batches videos, watch your older videos, and watch the other videos that I put up. So, and have a good time. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.